Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This topic reminds me of the first architecture book we Space, Time, and Architecture. So time and space are inseparable from architecture. So I'm going to talk to you from the viewpoint of urban planning on time and space. Next. So, you see, design today is under a lot of pressure from consumerism. Also, more and more the tendency is to take each design as a personal statement. And also, the developers want us to create icons. This is the reality. But at the same time, in our time, land price goes up, density goes up, building becomes larger, the plots become larger, and therefore we have a bigger responsibility to cities. The combination of design today and the time today, you create the urban scape, which tends to be a collection of urban islands, like American suburbs, and not cities. It's an elephant doing rock and roll. And I think if you have a room with elephants doing rock and roll, I don't think you're very pleased with this. And the cities are mostly non-walkable and not harmonious. They are not. This is a crisis of face. So if I look at what actually is supposed to animate, but never mind. So everybody is a seeker of icons. But if we look at what the city, make a city use, well, you have to look at conservation policy, master planning with macro environmental design. That means when you plan the city, think about the image of the city. When you plan the detailed plan, you think about the image of the city, micro environment. Then you go into urban design. If you don't care about the images of the city at the planning stage, then you try to give a good image to the city. At urban design stage, it's too late. And then we will talk about plot ratio and building height control and building line control. These are concepts which are often not remembered, often forgotten, and therefore we create urban islands. And what actually makes a city? So these are the works that we have to do behind the scenes. Totally unglamorous, totally not sexy. But we need all this work in order to create a city. The first line here is from non-physical images. Because when we don't plan the city well, the non-physical images are what? Pollution, traffic jams, floods, and so on, and noise. Now, our environment is affected by those factors because of poor planning and because of the seekers seeking for icons. And therefore, and also engineering design is very important. We must look for beauty beyond just architecture. And of course, heritage and nature icons. And also, while we're busy creating iconic buildings, should we not remember background buildings? For example, when we go to Paris, around the River Seine, we have Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, and the glass pyramid by Iron Pay, and the triumphal arch at the other end. Now, if you put any one of these things in a busy Chinese city, they will be lost. Why do these buildings, iconic buildings, stand out? Because the rest of the buildings around those areas are totally uniform, totally uninteresting. Actually, they are very beautiful, but they're totally uniform. This is the problem we're facing. Next. So, I am trying to these are my key points. But in order to say that I practice what I said. So this is public housing in Singapore. And I think what we have to remember, what we think a huge challenge in Singapore is that we are given opportunity to do large stretches of land. And we have to really treat each one of them as one piece of art and not a collection of iconic buildings. The next one, just to say that I practice what I preach. This is actually a new Chinese cultural center in Singapore. But if you look at the map, it is in the middle of a small street. So I play by all the rules of good urban design. The building line, the setback and so on. Play by all the rules. And within that, we try to create good architecture. So we should not be averse to anonymity, but our building should be credible at the same time. And finally, I want to show you something that will shock you. And this is a cultural center we found, which will be, I've been working on it for the last 7 to 8 years, and it's going to be completed in September. Now, this one seems to go against everything I said earlier, because I don't seem to play with the rules game. That's because it is set in a garden, and therefore this is the opportunity for me to use all the languages of modern times to express architecture. Therefore, in certain circumstances, by all means make your personal statements, but in other circumstances, be a good neighbor and play with the rules of the game. I want to add just one more statement before I finish. That is, we're in Beijing, and therefore I always feel very sad that on the actual line of Beijing, we have the Yuan dynasty development, some remnants, very credible. The Ming dynasty, Qing dynasty, very impressive, well known around the world. Even the early days of the current regime, the Tiananmen Square, very credible. The buildings are very credible. What I want to ask is, further down in Tiananmen and some, what are the 21st century Chinese going to show that as the masterpieces of 21st century Chinese? This question I've been asking for many, many years and never got a straight answer. And I hope this audience will think about it and do something, because we owe it to history that is kind. We owe it to history to deliver very brilliant 21st century Chinese architecture, some of the Thank you.